Here I'm gonna take you along with me to get some custom clothes made in India, and this is right before we go on a big vacation. We're gonna go to 5 different countries in a span of around 43 to 44 days. And right now we are making our way to an embroidery shop where I got some custom graphics printed or hand stitched on some pockets of a couple of shirts that we got made in linen. And I've been a big fan of getting custom linen clothes, custom tailored linen clothes made out here. So right here we are making our way down this dark alley, and you can see it's night out, but there's still a lot of people walking around. It was around 7 p.m. here. Most of the stores, they close anywhere from 9 to mostly 8 to 10. People will start shutting down their shops. And here it's a big mix of residential and commercial. There's no real, there's a fine line between both. So you'll have little shops at the bottom where these little garage doors are, and the people live on the upper, in the loft areas. So there's no real distinction between a business and just a residential home. And there's no real regulation of what goes where. It's pretty much just whatever you choose to open up and where you open it. There's a loose groupings. So here we're in the tailor area, so you'll get a lot of textile stuff and embroidery stuff. This is a button store to the left where we parked our scooter, and mostly this area of this market is just embroidery. So you'll have people selling suits, but there's entire sections of the market that are just for that. Here it's mainly just embroidery stuff, and the only people getting stuff embroidered is women on their suits. So that's what you mainly see going through these markets. But I got a lot of ideas for custom embroidery work, so we were having a tough time finding somebody who was willing to take on our projects. And in this little alleyway, it's all embroiders. We actually asked every single shop if they could help us out, and they all denied us. They said that even if they could help us, it would take months to get our projects done. And we weren't asking for much. This guy, whatever that shop name was, Kohinoor, he was the only guy who accepted our project, and he actually got it done within like 2 or 3 hours of us even visiting him. And we dropped off our things. He actually told us it would take 2 to 3 days. We were happy that he even accepted, period, because the rest of the shops said, first of all, they said they wouldn't do it. Second, they said even if they did do it, we wouldn't even be able to pick up our stuff until like next month. And at this point, we were going to leave in about 2 weeks to our little excursion. So I was just glad that he was willing to help us out here. These are the pocket squares that we got, and it's just simple. 3 of them are just simple initials, SS, for my dad, and then I got the actual Bitcoin logo on my pocket, and I thought they came out pretty good. Here my wife is complaining that the S's are italicized, and yeah, the circle on this B was a little bit crooked, but I thought he did pretty good for just being a freehand embroidery job. And there was no the only reference he had was an image I sent him. After this, I actually went and printed out some other images that I wanted to get embroidered, but didn't have time to drop those off and get them put on any other clothes. But we will definitely be going back to this guy and putting him to the test to see if he could do some more work for us. I was pretty satisfied with the two images that I got done. And here we are leaving that market. You could see it's a bit of a spectacle, me being a guy sitting in the back seat with my wife driving the scooter, and then me filming everything. From here we squeezed our way through all this traffic and people to drop off our embroidered pockets to the tailor who is gonna sew up our suits, and we went to pick up the finished product I think 2 or 3 days later, because the very next day was a Sunday, I believe, and we were pretty sure he was going to be closed on Sunday, but we didn't check. We don't really like going to this market, and you'll see why. It's very dirty and busy, kind of hard to get around. There's trash everywhere. You see a giant pile of just trash right there, and if you could look off into the distance, it's always dusty and smoggy. This particular time we were wearing masks, and that's pretty much recommended, but we were the only ones wearing masks in the entire market, and you could see how busy it is. So that's one of the reasons why everybody's staring at us. This is like the main road of this entire bazaar, and it's mostly just suits and textiles and clothing. This side it's all pre-made stuff, but we did get our fabric from one of these shops. Right up here, we're coming up to the tailor. It's right behind the clock store across from this meat shop. Kind of an odd place. It's called Daffodils. And I don't know if we'll be going back to Daffodils. They kind of screwed the pooch. You'll see what I mean coming up here, but this is a tiny little cramped spot. Little, I guess you could call it 1.5 stories. Here we hand off the pockets. He's looking through the pockets. And there's a little stray dog action there. And that Radika Fashion is where we got the fabric. I got it some pure linen. Here's a breakdown. I got 3 shirts for my dad, all from the same material, just different colors. It's all pure linen. So those 3 shirts are going to be $13.50 sewn, and I got 2 sets, shirt and pants, and my entire total was going to be 2,000 rupees for the 4 items. And the fabric itself cost $172 for 7 items worth of fabric. Here we are 1 day later. We're going to pick up the finished product, and we start off by giving a little scooter ride to the pug. Here in this clip, you'll really get to see how close the market is. So right now we're just leaving the house, and it's literally right down the road. You take a left on this road and another left, and you come to basically the main market. Here you get to see the state of pretty much the front road here. It is real beat up and kind of trash everywhere. People just use it as dumping ground. Right here, this is like basically a farmer's market, but it's permanent. There's always people selling produce here, and there's even an old lady cooking up some whatever it is. She's cooking something up, but there's mainly just food right here in this little spot. And the further down you go, the more dense it gets. And right to the left is a little chicken stall where they got some caged up chickens. Really bad state for the chickens. They don't really look too appetizing. We never get meat from there, but all the fast food places, that's the type of chickens that they use. So here we are going at a pretty busy time of day, but it's pretty much always like this. You got a guy collecting some trash. This market is primarily a walking market, and at the most you could take a scooter, but coming to this market in a car is nearly impossible. You could take a little rickshaw, but we never done that because it's just so close to us. Usually it's just either by foot or on a scooter. Even on foot though, it's not ideal because it's just so dirty, and you want to spend as little time going through this market as possible, just because it's always so dusty and there's way too much trash everywhere. Here we're right back to Daffodils to pick up our suits. And you could see right there in the alleyway there's a giant dump truck just kind of holding up the entire lane, and we'll see that backing up a little bit later into the video. Hand this guy the slips, and sadly it was not very ideal. He got my pants right and the brown shirt was tailored well, but the rest of the stuff everything was a little off. The shirts for my dad seemed missized. 3 shirts were supposed to be the same size, but they were seemingly all different sizes. My brown shirt here in this color was fit well. This was my dad's. We don't know if it's too big or too small. That's the problem with getting stuff tailored when somebody is not present at the shop with you. I was able to try mine on right away, and this one fit. The black one did not fit though. It was way too big, and they probably made that to my dad's size.
शोल्डर तो सेम जे शोल्डर ਦੇ ਬਰਾਬਰ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਬੜਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਉਹ ਕਹੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੇਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਅੰਕਲ ਜੀ ਆਹ ਥੱਲੇ ਛੋਟੀ ਸਾਫ ਹੀ ਕੰਦੀ ਆ
These 2 shirts here, they're supposed to be the same size, but obviously the brown one is way smaller than the white one. That's the problem you get when you go to these really cheap tailors when you have a small budget. And the first suit we got made was like almost $100, and these guys, they charged way less. Mine fit pretty good. I think it would have been nice if it was a little bit longer, but here we see the massive dump truck situation outside, and their door was wide open, and we actually had to close the door ourselves to prevent any falling trash from getting in and potentially getting on our brand new tailored shirts. And you could see a lot of trash. This right here is the full outfit. It fits pretty well, but kind of look like a cop, and the placement of the logo on the chest makes it look like a factory uniform, but it should be fine with some good shoes, and the only thing that matters is that it fits good. And you could get a nice zoom in on the logo that I had printed. Just thankful that they printed it the right way and not backwards or something. That's all that you could ask for, is that they didn't completely mess everything up.